Hi, Dr. Zhang. This is Matthew Kahn in ECE570 Computer Networks, here to present to you my final project, a CRC and acknowledgement implementation for the message passing service over wireless between a PC and an Android phone. So without further ado, I will show you my setup here. I've got my Samsung Galaxy S3 with Android operating system 4.1.2 connected through a USB cord to my own computer. And then I'll just go ahead and demo you my project. I've got the CRC and acknowledge working almost perfectly, but the problem is detecting the the transmitter IP when I want to do the acknowledge. So here I'm just going to transmit some data between the PC and itself, and so you can see I'm just going to type in the port number, and then I'll type in some data, and so you see that works. I added a little output for the header, and that checks out. If the header is bad, then I just output bad header in place of this, and then after the colon you see this is the remainder from the CRC check, and as long as that's 0, that indicates there's no errors in the transmission. So we're good with this transmission, and then here's the message we sent, and all this is below the timestamp. And down here in the console you can see a little bit of output that I added. Here's just the general output message, and then you've got some different IP addresses that I was trying, or some different port numbers that I was trying to work with while figuring out the acknowledgement response. Now, when I'm transmitting between the PC and itself, I'm able to successfully detect the packet, send an ACK, and detect the ACK as well, using this socket receive up here, this socket receive get local port. That's what I was able to use to transmit between the PC program and itself. Now, a problem arises with that method when I want to transmit between the PC and the phone. I am not able to detect the ACK because I try to send the ACK back using the IP that the transmission came in on, but for some reason as you know, it gets incremented, but for some reason none of the get port functions using socket receive or packet receive have worked for me to figure out the transmitting IP so that I can respond to that, the transmitter's port, so that I can respond to that port with the ACK. So when I try and transmit between the PC and the phone, which I'm going to do here in a second, you'll see that it gets hung up when it's trying to detect the ACK response. So give me just a second I'm going to switch this socket receive get local port to, that's not it. I'm going to switch this socket receive get local port to packet receive. Oops. I'm going to switch it to packet receive.get port, which is what it originally was in the base code. I'm going to do that for the phone side as well. And so I'm going to install that. Here you see my Android device. You might notice a big crack in the phone. That's there for authenticity's sake. But here I've got the old installation of the Android program here. I'm just going to delete that and then reinstall it using Eclipse. So this is the program that I just edited to use the packet receive.get port. And so if I try and send a message to my phone using the IP address indicated here, let's see, 126:55989, and I type in a message, and click send. I'm not seeing anything on the output here. Sometimes I am able to see the output, but you'll notice if you look closely at the timestamp, it's getting refreshed consistently because the message is constantly being retransmitted, and that's because it's not detecting the ACK when I transmit between the PC and the phone. And that's because I can't figure out how to get the sender's IP or the sender's port number, even though I've tried all the different get port functions. But anyway, it's really close. I know that everything else works because when I try and transmit using an IP address that I can detect, I'm able to see the ACK and I'm able to see everything I expect to see. Now, of course, I was working on this before I got the file transfer in place, and so I haven't been able to get the file transfer working with the ACK response, but I was able to get the file transfer working using the base code. That wasn't really difficult, and so that's where I'm at right now. I'm pretty happy with how well the transmission between the PC and itself works. I've got it isolated down to just the IP, the port detection problem, and yeah, I added as just a little extra something for the project. It's not much, but I added some Java doc comments to the PC side program. Maybe that'll be useful for future base code for future semesters. So I encourage you to check out the Java doc comments on the DEP program. And that's all. Thanks, Dr. Zhang.